Damas y caballeros, señores y señoritas, taking a look at identify, describe, professions, Spanish 2. This is going to help you with part 2 of your personas famosas. First of all, we've got some vocabulary here. You may recognize these from the wall in my classroom. Those of you that have actually been to class: el hombre, la mujer, el chico, el muchacho, la chica, la muchacha, el niño, la niña, special vocabulary for little boy, little girl. El o la bebé, also known as el nene or la nena. So when we're describing people, identifying people, age and gender have special vocab terms. Now, to start off today, we've got a little review of a structure that helps us identify and describe in one little clause. Es un hombre muy serio. We notice this uses the indefinite article un or una, followed by the noun, and then after the noun, an adjective that modifies that noun. So all you needed to do was paste the photo into the correct location. Es un hombre muy serio. Obviously, ahí está. Es una chica atrevida. I'm just dragging in. Es un muchacho estudioso. Es una mujer fuerte, por supuesto. Y es una niña graciosa. Popsicle face. Okay, so this structure is part of what you're going to use in part 2 when you're identifying and describing or saying what kind of person or what kind of professional your famous people are. All right, so we're going to review that a little bit, and we're going to put that in terms of professions. Now, these professions in Spanish are interesting in that professions act a lot like adjectives, and sometimes they act like nouns. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Most will change for gender, but some do not, and pay attention to the endings. All right, so you're going to see that these rules are very familiar. A couple of weeks ago, we reviewed how to use adjectives when describing people. And the professions in Spanish follow almost exactly the same rules. And number one was when you're searching for professions, you're probably going to find them in the masculine form. Okay. Oh, if your famous person is an athlete of some sort, is an actor, a singer, writer, probably find them in the masculine form. All right, this is just how Spanish works. It is the default in Spanish. Now, some adjectives, rather, some professions, like some adjectives, are going to follow the chico chica rule. So let's imagine that you're describing a musician and you are searching for the term musician. You will find, most likely, el músico. El músico is a perfect example of a profession that follows the chico chica rules. When we find the masculine form, it ends with o. El, of course, being the definite article. We can also use un músico. And you'll see when you're going to use that later. So we apply the chico chica rule. So el becomes la, o becomes a. El músico would change to la música. All right, so a male musician, a female musician. So what you're going to do is look at the masculine form and see if it ends with that O. If it ends with that O, chances are really good you're going to change that to an A. And we know that L will change to la, un will change to una. I'll just throw that in there. So earlier we looked at the server in el restaurante. We see that that follows the chico chica rule. Now, chances are your famous person is not the server in a restaurant, but you never know. All right. Rule 3, adjectives or professions without chica or chica endings. So el o la ante does not change. El o la guitarrista, artista, actually anything with ista. Not going to change for chico chica. Some strange ones we have here. El o la modelo. All right, if the person is a fashion model, el modelo, la modelo. The word model, masculine, but for a feminine model, we would simply change it to la. But the noun itself, modelo, stays the same. Kind of a strange one. Now we do have some, okay, so these do not have chico chica endings. Let's give that some color. Luego, the Dora the Explorer rule. These are what we call convertible. These are some that change in a different way. So, el jugador. In the feminine becomes la jugadora. They don't all follow this particular rule. Some, like actor, actriz, like actor and actress, which we don't really use anymore in English. También we learned el bailarín back in the en la escuela y después de clases unit. Change to la bailarina. So again, we see some of them are convertible, that they do change endings. And then finally, in the age of social media, we usually use English. So Spanish, like a lot of other languages, well, it does say something about the influence of the United States, especially in the realm of technology. So el o la YouTuber. el o la influencer. Right, so we do see these terms in Spanish, just English words that are being borrowed, right? Now, I gave you a link here at the bottom of that page with a list of professions and a review of all these rules and more. So just make sure that if the person that you're identifying and describing is female, that you're checking the adjectives, of course, and then the profession. Now, quick aside here. A lot of people have more than one profession. Someone can be an actor and a singer and a producer. Feel free to put all that, or you can just choose their primary source of fame and income. Either way, make sure that you are adjusting for gender. All right, I'm curious if there are any questions so far. Again, I am recording this, so if you need to go back and watch it later, you can. Also, feel free to check out that list of professions and a review of these rules. So how do we apply this? I have chosen actor español famoso Javier Bardem. You're probably familiar with him, but you don't even know it. He's a transformative sort of actor. He becomes the character, and he's just good. Anyway, Javier Bardem es talentoso. So we know that we use ser plus an adjective to describe someone. Talentoso because he is masculine, okay? Now, if I want to say he is a talented man, I have to insert the un or una, then the man, then the talented at the end. Javier Bardem es un hombre talentoso. He's a man talented. All right, so the structure, the verb ser, that's our es. Un or una, that's our indefinite article, then the noun, then the adjective. All right, so one of the tasks on your part too is to say what kind of person your famous people are. Javier Bardem es un hombre talentoso. Now, if you're ready for a little hook, in Spanish, the word persona is feminine for anyone. If I were to say he is a talented person, notice how the structure at the bottom of my screen here es una persona talentosa. Even though he is a man, because the word persona is feminine, we have to use the feminine article una and then the feminine ending on the adjective es una persona talentosa. It does not change his gender, but we're identifying him as a talented person. The word person just happens to be feminine. Now here's the weird one. This one's actually kind of strange here. Yo soy profesor. Tú eres estudiante. Now in English, I would say I am a teacher. You are a student. In Spanish, your profession does not use un or una. Javier Bardem es actor. Just like number one, where I said Javier Bardem es talentoso. You will change the profession, marked here in blue, for gender, but it's going to act like an adjective. We do not use un or una unless, and this brings us to number 4, unless you are modifying and saying what kind of person, what kind of actor, what kind of teacher. Yo soy un profesor paciente. Tú eres una estudiante inteligente. Javier Bardem es un actor talentoso. So when we add the adjective at the end, saying what kind of actor, or what kind of football player, what kind of singer, what kind of guitar player, your famous person is, we reinsert the un or una. I know this is a lot to swallow. I give you my 4 sentences about Javier Bardem. Underneath each are 3 blank lines for you to type a similar sentence for your 3 famous people. Javier Bardem es talentoso. Tom Brady es atlético. All right. Javier Bardem es un hombre talentoso. Lady Gaga es una mujer talentosa. Javier Bardem es actor. J.K. Rowling es escritora. Javier Bardem es un actor talentoso. Billie Eilish es una cantante talentosa. All right. So you're going to write 3 sentences for each model using your 3 famous people as the subjects. And then paste that into part 2, paste that into your draft.